Hello, everybody. What I want to talk to you about today is really not a discussion, it's more just a personal rant. It's something that I hear all the time, and that is we should be teaching this in early education rather than something else. And it generally comes in the form of something like, hey, I never used that geometry or that algebra. You should be teaching someone how to balance their checkbook rather than doing that. So it's always that form of teach this, not that. Well, I'm of the opinion that that is an erroneous belief. Now, I don't mean to diminish the value of what they're saying you should teach. And things like personal finance, balancing your checkbook, or life skills that are going to be highly important to you in the future. Those are things that are indeed important and should be learned. But it's not necessarily the job or place for a school, particularly in early education, to teach those things. The reason I say that is this: everyone has a finite amount of resources. That is the study of economics. And one of those primary resources is time. And economics studies how we allocate our finite resources. Now, when we are children, we have a finite amount of time that we are able to spend in the educational environment, the formal educational environment, each day. For most kids in the United States, it's somewhere between 6 and 8 hours of academic instructions a day. And then after that, they have family time and the time that they do other things in life. All of these things are a valid part of growing up and learning things. Now, during those finite number of hours, we have an institutional approach to expose kids to certain things. And generally, the things that they are exposed to are aimed at making an individual a well rounded person. And many of the things are things that cannot be learned in home or in the community. Now, what are those things? Things like taking part in biology labs. The same thing goes for mathematics because many people simply do not have access to individuals who are able and willing to teach them mathematics in the home or in the community. So the school focuses on this. And there may be aspects of what you learn that you do not use as a career. You will not use geometry if you don't go into some construction career or design career where you need those skill sets. But it still is fundamental that you have an understanding of how it works and how it's done. That is what makes you a more knowledgeable and better rounded individual. So, if you'll accept my premise that the things that we do teach in school are extremely valuable, let's go back to my premise of the value of other things that we should be teaching in school but don't. Well, there are many, many things that we should be learning throughout our life, but because of the finite amount of time that we have in the classroom, we have to focus on the things that are extremely valuable that you will not get exposure to otherwise. Now, should there be community efforts? Should there be family efforts? Should there be efforts by the school to encourage individuals to have experiential learning at home? Should there be many other resources available where individuals can take part in directed learning for things like personal finance and other things that individuals find valuable that are not taught in school? Absolutely. But here's the thing, they are. There are plenty of resources, particularly on the internet. If you don't have internet at home, you can go to public libraries as long as they are still funded. You can check out books. You can use the internet at the public libraries where you can learn things that you are otherwise not being taught at school. Now, are children going to do this of their own free will? Of course not. But should parents be encouraging this? Should communities be encouraging this? Should schools be encouraging this to the parents or giving them information on how to do this? Well, of course. And in many situations, they are. We cannot downplay the impact that those around you, your family, your community, your friends, those who in any way influence your life, the effect that they have on your learning. So many of these individuals have the responsibility to facilitate or at least encourage you to acquire knowledge in these given areas. In a way, we should all be teachers. We should all be apt and willing to teach people things that we understand that they don't, that we deem to be essential things for them in life. But the idea that all of these essential skills should be taught in the school is a non starter. There's simply not enough time, and it's not the proper venue for it because lots of times these students don't have the motivation to fully learn it unless it comes from a more motivational source. That is, the people who influence you greater, meaning your family, your friends, your community, etc. So that's my rant. I don't believe many of these things should be pushed onto school systems. They should be pushed onto us individually. We have a personal responsibility to help educate others. Now, that's my opinion. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. Please jump down in the comments below. Go over to thebusinessprofessor.com and start a discussion. But regardless, I hope to see you around the platform sometime soon. Till then, take care.